Part 2 of Research Designs, beginning with surveys. Recent research shows that more than half of Americans report experiencing more happiness and enjoyment than worry and stress on the previous day. 1 out of 5 people across 22 countries now believe that aliens walk the earth disguised as humans, and 68% of humans say religion is important in their daily lives. How do we find out this information? Via survey. One thing that you want to be careful for, we'll discuss again, wording. Be very careful when you word a survey. You want your surveys to be worded more positively in order to avoid negative responses due just to your wording. So, people respond more positively to the word aid than welfare. They respond more positively to affirmative action versus preferential treatment. Not allowing versus censorship, and revenue enhancers versus taxes. Okay, so we can use surveys, describe how surveys were used in the caffeine study. Again, I will post that link in Brightspace. Caffeine study used surveys to capture beliefs about caffeine. Other uses of surveys, you can use them to generate responses of satisfaction, preferences, etc. What are benefits of surveys? They're cost effective. They're very, very cheap, can even be free to administer. Especially when you're able to administer them via email or social media. You have the ability to generate large amounts of data. All right. Moving on, QuasiExperimental Designs. Quasi simply means resembling, having some of, but not all the features of. We use quasi-experimental designs when random assignment is not possible. So we could not, so remember random assignment, we want to pick a name from a hat and put 10 people in one group, 10 people in the other. What if you were doing an assignment, or you're doing a design, an experiment on love? So are we able to pick 10 names from a hat and say, you're in love and you're not? Or you're a man, you're a woman. We're not able to. So independent variables in a quasi-experimental design are called fixed variables, or things that cannot be changed. Some problems with quasi-experimental designs. Groups that are already predetermined, such as married, in love versus single, dog lovers versus cat lovers, man versus woman, may be fundamentally different in some ways, which adds a confounding variable. Remember, that is a third variable that we are not really studying that can mess up our study results. Moving on to longitudinal designs. What are the key characteristics of a longitudinal study? Longitudinal studies involve repeated observations of the same variables over a long period of time. Some studies have gone on for longer than 50 years, and the same people are surveyed every single year, every other year, but they're getting this same answers from this, or they're getting answers from the same people. What are benefits of longitudinal studies? We can see how specific individuals change over the lifespan, identify risk factors for the development of diseases and disorders, etc. So how would a longitudinal study benefit research looking at risk factors for disease? What if so simply, we know now that smoking causes cancer, but that would be something you could have maybe looked at over the previous 50 years and seen, oh wow, 80% of these people are smoking, and now, 60% of them have died from cancer. Maybe there's something we should look at here, right? What are some of the challenges? Longitudinal research is costly. It is difficult to keep track of participants. Sometimes they drop out, sometimes they die, right? Original researchers may retire, then you have to find somebody to come in and take over the research. Methods and trade-offs. Which of the previously discussed research designs is the best? There is not necessarily a correct answer. All of them have strengths and all of them have weaknesses. There is no such thing as the perfect research design. Research designs are dependent on the questions examined by the researcher, and even the best designed and planned research has trade-offs. I will post this mass misconception link on Brightspace as well. This study is largely correlational. It is a study between diet soda and weight gain. Given the media's tendency to sensationalize things, they often skip over the correlational part and say things like diet soda may lead to weight gain. They don't say things like gaining weight may lead you to drink diet soda because you're trying to cut sugar out of your diet, right? We always want to ask, how did the researcher discover this? These are the directions for your group project. You are going to build a study. This will be posted on Brightspace.